It's a joy to be with you on this Tuesday, and today I'm going to go to chapter 11 of 2 Corinthians. This epistle just opens up the heart of Paul as he's trying to help these people understand genuine Christianity. Both in the first epistle to the Corinthians and then in this one, you find him dealing with their wrong perspective. And they were looking at spirituality from a human view rather than really understanding how God worked. Now, that wasn't all of them, but certainly some of them that had influence. And as he's doing this, he's talking about the fact that he had suffered many things. And this was seen almost as a negative as far as these people were concerned. But after he goes through all the things that he had done for the cause of Christ, talk about being beaten by the Jews, how he had been in prisons, how he had been shipwrecked, he was stoned, been with robbers and so on. Just a number of things you'll find in this passage. He ends that section by saying, verse 30, "If I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern mine infirmities." What he wanted them to understand was that God didn't promise a life that was just going to be perfect and you would have wealth and have all your needs met in this kind of a way, and you'd have health and things would go very smoothly. Sometimes people will try to teach the health, wealth, and prosperity gospel that when you're walking with the Lord, you're going to have all kind of great things happen. Now, let me stop and say, God does better than that. But the better than that is the spiritual development. Now, God meets our needs. God delights in doing good and perfect things for us. As James 1 says, he is so gracious to us. He does exceeding abundantly above all that we could ask or think. But he oftentimes allows us, like the Apostle Paul, to go through deprivation, to go through hard times financially, to go through some physical problems, and that's just part of the human experience. It's just the way it is. And through all of that, he is doing something in us and through us. As James chapter 1 says, we are to count it all joy when we fall into diverse temptations. Why? Because the trying of our faith worketh patience, and let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. In other words, God is taking all of this and he's developing us. He's changing our thinking. He's making the Word of God come alive. He's causing us to look to him more and more and have that kind of fellowship and relationship, that dependence upon him. Without faith, we cannot please God, and this is causing us to have to depend upon him, and he's doing great things. And so when we go through these things, we can have the same kind of attitude the Apostle Paul had for the sake of the gospel, for the furtherance of the work of God. He had suffered these things. And he said, if I'm going to glory, I'm going to glory in the things that concern mine infirmities. My weakness is not something to be looked down upon. What I've suffered is not something to be seen as negative. I'm going to glory in what God is doing, because God has used all of this to allow me to be able to preach to the regions beyond. And of course, just in Paul's short ministry, the gospel had gone to Cilicia, Asia Minor, had gone to Greece, would go to Rome, and to Spain. And that was going to have an enormous impact upon the Roman Empire. And so let's glory in whatever God allows and believe that he's doing a good work in our lives.